Hey TJ, you claimed first. The timing lined up. Hello, hello. I was just looking at some notes that I wrote. Don't stream beyond noonish. Okay, sure. I have playtests so I can figure out what other perks I want to add or what levels I want to reorganize. Yeah, what do I have written here? There may be a bug with free chests if you have the dialogue open when the chest is purchased. And yeah, need to lay out perks better in regular mode. That I'll hold off on for now. Whenever I do publish the demo, I gotta organize this list. We still need to make perks in regular mode show up better. There can't be 9 in a row. It used to be 3 by 3. I'll just say it can't be 9 by 1. Used to be 3 by 3. Okay. So, hey, Devil Dog. What else? Yeah, so let's go test out this one thing. I'll go into town challenge mode functions and we'll add a player abilities dot set ability level. Actually, I guess it's just add ability. New free treasure chest and set this to 3. All right, so this will give us free treasure chests, and then we want to make sure that we are in pirate specialization. I think the easiest way to do that is just like so. Where is it? Oh, come on. Oh, it's farm. Specialization ID dot farm. Yeah. Wait, somewhere I must make one of these. Yes, here. Okay, pirate. Done. Let's go try it. Hey, Wise Demic. Love the to-do listing. You tried Notion? I've never tried Notion. Way back when I was considering it, which is like probably a decade ago or something, it had a really bad free tier. And since then, it's gotten better in terms of monetization, but I don't want another proprietary note-taking app, I guess. Or note-taking format, I should say. I made a whole video on why I left OneNote. And the short story now is, for the rest of my life, I want markdown notes. That way, if any particular vendor is bad or they whatever have some weird policy, I can just take my notes and move them somewhere else. So now I use Obsidian for practically everything. And yeah, and if Obsidian started doing something unusual, I could just be like, all right, well, whatever. I'll just use a text editor or something. So yeah. Okay, so all we need to do is try purchasing something. So I need to restart this. And I need to open the purchase dialog and just see what happens. So it's gonna spawn a chest there, but it should close this dialog and it doesn't. So what happens if I hit buy? Did it just cost me money? It did, and it didn't give me anything. And now what happens when these chests open? Oh, now there are 2 chests there. I am guessing that's not a good thing. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I figured there was a bug here. And it wasn't until I was watching Codex play that I was like, that's probably going to be an issue. And thankfully they didn't run into this. So there are a couple different things we can do here. One is wherever we have the free chest purchase thing, grant free chest, this calls purchase treasure chest. So this needs to hide the dialogue if it is open. That should be pretty simple to do. There's dismiss dialogue here. What does that do? I think we can just check if it's null. Is this nullable? Oh, we don't save it? Oh, we do save it. It's right there. Okay, so do we ever... We do dismiss it. So we just need to call dismiss on it. That should be very easy. It's possible that this was purchased automatically while the dialogue was open, in which case we dismiss the dialogue. And that's it. That should be the fix. But I didn't even realize this was a bug until yesterday. So thankfully, this won't have taken long if that's what the fix is. We'll try this out. So it's very easy to test. We just click this, and now that should go away on its own. Yep, nice. Now, I guess there is technically a way you could click this, like, as it's disappearing, maybe. It's really hard to do that, though. Yeah, I don't know if that worked or not. I don't know. Maybe it's not possible. They try to cheat the free chest. You should 100% charge them 100% of their funds. You think I'm stupid? I see what you're doing. This reminds me of what happens in Link's Awakening when you steal an item. Hey, Kevin, and hey, Rixa. Oh, you apparently just cleaned yourself. This cat is like damp. Okay, cat, you want to sit down? Yeah, good cat. So, okay, this is gonna get very uncomfortable soon. But for now, she's nice and warm. And then yeah, while a dialogue. So what does this do? Oh, it sets the option mode to disabled. Prevent the buttons from being clicked as it's closing. Wow, nice. We thought of everything. Okay, great. So that fixes this problem. Fix bug with free chests. If you had the buy dialog open while a free chest was given to you, you would be able to buy one anyway, which would enter a buggy state with a phantom chest. Now we just close the dialogue when that happens. Okay. She looks like a grumpy cat. She's a very pleasant cat. But yes, this facial expression of hers is pretty funny. Let me see if I can find a slightly better photo. Hang on a second. I'm trying to find a good one. Okay, here's one I can share. Here is our lovely Catso spending time in the sun. Yeah, have you just snuggling? Hey, Matt. She's a good kitty cat. Very important pictures I'm sharing here. Okay, so I have not actually checked this in yet. Yeah, now I have. And then let's push that. Although it doesn't really matter, I guess. So that's finished. And then the only other thing I had here was play test so we can figure out what other perks we want to add. And I guess we need to pay attention to balancing too. But I wrote some conclusions yesterday. I want more perk variety. I want slightly more depth from the systems. Occasional rare perks. Yeah, I gotta write this down. But yeah, trade-offs felt good. The run was fun. So I think having another trade-off option would be pretty good. So this is done. This is done. More content I'm not going to keep there. Okay. Oh, man. All right. Well, what should we do then for this? Like, what is going to change your run a decent amount? I think maybe every system should have something. I didn't code that many of these. I only coded these 6. Income multipliers, generic. Free treasure chests. This is specific to the treasure system. Farm crop is specific to the farm. So should we have one per system? Treasure is done. Farm is done. So we have the pond, the warehouse, the enchanter, and the garbage slime. Farm crop value is so good. You liked it? It's plus 20%, which I feel like is not too crazy, although it could scale if we added more. The whole idea was that all of these positives and negatives have a, well, could have a number. And if they have a number, then we can change it so that toward the end of the run, it could be like plus 60% crop value. And at that point, it's going to provide very little value for you because the game's almost over. I feel like I got plus 80%. I don't think you can have that happen. I think you can get 80%, which means that it's actually minus 20%. That might have been offered to you. That was a bad one, though. In which case, let me show you what that would have looked like. So we do that and then this. So I just buy 4 of these. Yeah, here it's multiplies by 120%. I'll try one more time. There's a slightly less than 50% chance that this shows up the way I want it to show up. No, it didn't show up. Okay, well, whatever. Anyway, it'll look like this, except for it'll say farm crop is multiplied by 80%. Took the extra difficulty. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to have something for all of these, maybe. I wonder what we should do for the fishing pond for this. Like for the farm, our idea was just plus crop value. For the treasure chest, it's free treasure chest every so often. For the pond, it could be something like every time X happens, fill the pond. That way you're rewarded for having all the pond upgrades. I mean, all of these things are basically just make a system better. I'm not even sure that's interesting. I think maybe we need to make them different so that it's got more interplay with other things. In which case my run is even more epic. Yeah. Well, minus 20% isn't too bad. If you got 1,000 sludge, that means that level ups cost maybe like 50 or 75 or something at that point. I'm not going to figure out the math. But if they do, then, minus 200 sludge is basically about minus 3 levels, maybe. Hey, Windy, how's it going? My morning routine is check to see if Windy's streaming, and Windy hasn't been streaming for a while. I don't know how the pond is going to work in challenge mode. After last night, I don't think I'd ever bother with it unless I had a spare level 1 adventure, I guess, but late game. I need to test... Like, I'm not necessarily saying it's balanced. And the easiest way to balance it would probably just be to take the fish sludge value and add some amount. Maybe like +5 even. Maybe that would be fine. Because I think there is probably some value in getting it. The fishing specialization starts with the fish being weaker. But if they're not weaker, then I guess they just need to give you more, maybe? You have to dedicate an adventure. But that's not too bad. It's just another expenditure. And you might already have the adventures. Like what I was doing is I was juggling my battle party so that after the main one would get done and the fishing pond was full, I would just go to the fishing pond for like 20 seconds. I'm doing well, Wendy. We've added in some interesting things. So, well, semi-interesting. So for one, ignore that. All right. So for one, we have the ability to reroll perks now. So you get a choice, and after 5 choices, you'll get a reroll token. And after 4 choices for now, you'll get a trade-off suggested. So this one is enemies are weaker, but you can only have 3 adventurers in a battle. And this one is town perks are cheaper, but your income's going to be lower. So we're going to put in a few of these choices here and there. So you pick one of these, and now I can buy another perk. Now I have a reroll. So if I don't like this set of options, I can reroll and pick a different one. So yeah, this is coming right along. There's no reason to put a higher level fisher. Level seems to not matter. Yeah, I guess that's kind of true. Well, there is sort of a reason in that it does take time to fish. If you don't have flimsy fish, then the fish have 250 HP. 200 HP by default. What was it, like 50 or something with flimsy fish? So the 250 HP to clear out your pond, I guess we need to just give you more fish. Maybe that's what we need to do. Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's all we need to do. We just go into extractor and change the value per fish from 25 to 20. That'd be a decent sized change, which would put more fish in the pond, which would mean that you need to battle them more frequently, which would mean you need to prioritize. Yeah, I think let's just do that. Let's just see what that does for us. It's probably going to make the game a lot easier. I should put this all in a different branch. Check out 6. Lower fish egg cost from 25G to 20G. This should help you fill your pond faster, which should make it better without just letting you put a level 1 adventurer on it all the time. You can now choose to maximize farm or fish for sludge, so you have a route choice there. Yeah, and maybe there should be a specialization or a trade-off thing that gives you like multiple systems can get better. And maybe those should be like the interesting trade-offs. So imagine something where it's like every time the garbage slime eats, you get 1 mana. I can't type a 1. So now this is It needs two systems. You need the garbage slime and the enchanter. It's not super interesting. So we probably need to add more spells at some point. I think we do need to add another enchanter spell. Also, as far as adding the spell, I think if we came up with what the spell is, yeah, we have space to put another spell book somewhere. So adding one more book should be pretty easy. But I don't know what it would do. Because this was supposed to address all the throughput of your town, customers, workers, and items. Like if we auto sold items, then there'd be no reason for you to click this one. Maybe it's customers spend more money. And then another book that says oh, that's actually kind of interesting. All right, I should write this down in my, I have an idea. I didn't actually verbalize it yet. So there's a risk of me losing it before I get to write it down. So let's just write it down. Customers spend X% more money on items. And then another one that says every X seconds, an item is immediately sold for its base value. Yeah, I like these. Avery Technic. What if in challenge mode more spells? Mode spells had some randomness. That might be too much. Shopping spree is not desirable versus loot magnet. I still think it is desirable. Sometimes you have too much loot and all you need are for customers to move a little bit faster. And in those cases, yeah, this spell is actually pretty decent. But yeah, I wonder if making them spend more money is good. I also wonder if that's just a good perk for the base game. We almost certainly need another enchanter spell if that system is going to be as interesting as possible. I could see changing them like this. Customers spend X% more money on items. Every X seconds, an item is immediately sold for its base value. Yeah. Change customer's spell to this and add spell for, I don't know, what would we call this spell? Then an item just like poofs out of existence and gets sold. I don't know. I'll just say add spell. We don't need a name for it yet. Is Athletics? Yeah, Abby is. This is so adorable. Let me take a picture of this. Okay, got it. All right, now let me show you the picture. Come on, cat. Come on. I can do this. Okay. Here's the picture I just took. She's got her little paw on my arm, so I can't really use the mouse very easily anymore. Love that cat. Only very early game when you have enough customers. It doesn't really matter in challenge mode. My items are selling so fast and I ramped up. Loot Magnet was far better value. Yeah, it makes me wonder if we're giving out too many customers toward the end. Like maybe instead of, it's every 5 minutes you get +1 customer. So that by the end of it, you've got +6 customers of very hard mode. But I wonder if we should have it be like only +4 or +5. Then again, was it you who was saying you always got max customers when you were offered it? So maybe that was like by design that your town was doing well because you prioritized that. Yeah. So that is a decent route if that's what you're able to get. Yeah. Hey, McNuts. 50% revenue split. Oh, hey, reset. Sorry, I have my YouTube screen on a different part of the window. I will put this in a more visible spot for me. Might be required at least a couple times. I'm hoping that there's nothing that's required, but we haven't added more perks yet. And this is still what I'm trying to figure out here. Like, what should we even do for this? Should we even have a pond thing at all? Maybe they should just be a system like every time you catch a fish or every time you cook a fish, you get money. something along these lines where it's like, oh, these systems now have some interplay. Because I'm not actually sure that just saying like, oh, your crops are worth more. I don't know if that's very interesting. It's easy to understand. It's just kind of boring. And it only benefits the farm. The the trade-off perks probably need to be more interesting. Just getting plus crop value means it only impacts the farm, which means it's just another farming perk that can show up rarely. On its own, that's not bad, but maybe something like every time you harvest a crop, you get 5 mana is more interesting, or like 1 mana. Then it requires you to make use of 2 buildings. But also, I feel like you pretty much always build everything in a run. It almost makes me wonder if the building cost, which is, I'm just making up numbers here, but it goes something like this. I wonder if it needs to go up faster. So like 125 to 200 to 300 or something. So it's like the total investment at first is just, yeah, plus 25. You can afford that. Then plus 50. Okay, that's a little bit harder. Then plus 100. Okay, that's a lot harder. And that way you really have to make a decision of like, should I get the final building or not? How was Donkey Kong? It was pretty good. I didn't know that you can't. I have a Switch 1, and in order to transfer all of it to the Switch 2, you apparently need to do it at like install time. So I need to go get my Switch 1 back from my friend, transfer it, and then I guess give it back to my friend. He was borrowing it to be able to play Zelda. So I think I have to factory reset the Switch 2, and I don't know if that deletes all my save files or if they're like in the cloud somewhere. So I tried not to play too much yesterday. I would be kind of annoyed if I had to repeat what I did. But yeah, it seems fun. I got the Switch 2. Yeah, I got it. It was always available with the Mario Kart bundle, but I didn't want Mario Kart. And I know that might sound a little bit weird, but I kept saying like, well, if my wife would play with me or something. Well, she kept saying like, no, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. Well, last night I just handed her a controller and she's like, wow, this is really fun. Can we keep playing? I'm like, why didn't you say there was a chance of us playing beforehand? So now I feel like, okay, if she's gonna play, it was an okay purchase. Also, Kirby Air Riders. I'm really looking forward to that. You should be able to move the virtual. Yeah. I'm not concerned about losing games. I'm concerned about losing the save file. Like I just started playing Donkey Kong yesterday. Am I gonna delete all of that? I guess the problem are the saves that aren't Nintendo Online. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that works. All right, so yeah, I wonder what interactions we could even have that would be interesting here, because I guess we could make anything up. There could be like if we force the condition to be every time you, or like the event to be every time you cook a fish, do X. What could X be that's interesting? So it could be something like Y% chance to grant a special fishing item, maybe a weapon. Yeah, that could be kind of interesting. Grant mana, like grow crops on your farm faster. Give more sludge. I don't know, like cast a spell from your enchanter. Sell an item from the warehouse. I don't think a lot of these are like very interesting. Damage an enemy in an ongoing battle. Yeah, sell an item from your warehouse or maybe even a shop. So in my mind, none of these really have to do with fishing except for maybe this one. The rest of these are, well, maybe this one too. The rest of these are all just generic, like, yeah, they're benefits. And we could kind of randomly combine these systems. That could be how trade-offs work. Okay, I'm like hunching right now so that the cat can have a nice pillow. But this is very uncomfortable. Can I move my arm, cat? Yes. Oh my God. Oh, it hurts. All right, so trade-offs could be dynamically created even within a positive or negative. We could say there's like two components to any positive trade-off, an event and an action. So it could be like every time you cook a fish is an event, or every time you harvest a crop, or every time you cast a spell. And then we give a weight to each of these. So this would have a weight of like 3. This happens very often, so it would have a very low weight, maybe something like that. And this happens probably even less frequently, so it would have a pretty high weight. And then we have an action that's something like Y% chance to get a free weapon. And Y is based on the weight, or it's just equal to the weight. So like every time you cook a fish, there's a 4% chance you get a weapon. Every time you cast a spell, there's an 8% chance you get a weapon. We could do something like this. I don't know if that's the most fun system we could have here. Hang out in shops more and spend more money for X time. Yeah, I guess everything that I would have done as an event could be that. Where are the events that I've written down? This is pretty much what we ended up with. This is kind of what we ended up with too. Change your decision to rewards. GitHub issue for more ideas. I don't think there's anything all that fun here. Item pinata, farming minigame, plant 7 pumpkins, spawn 1 mini battle window per adventure. Could get plus 50 customers in town. Yeah, I don't know about that. The idea of customers spending more money or something I think is fine. I just think there's a lot of overlap. And I think that's maybe part of the issue I'm sort of realizing here. So this idea, I don't know how to evaluate this idea. Like it could be good, but it's probably not worth doing unless we know more about the trade-off system. And then the other issue that we have is there just aren't that many unique systems in the game for us to come up with interesting effects. But then that makes me think all the games that do this well, like if you look at Slay the Spire, there's some stats. There's health, there's strength, there's dexterity. Then there's some like effects that you can have, I guess. Things like can't use attack cards, or skills cost 0 or something like that. There are a bunch of these. And then there are the actual mechanics of the game, which is like using a card, choosing a target, using a potion, those sorts of things. When it comes to the actual battle, I guess there aren't that many different mechanics at play. Maybe there are. And yet the game works. So maybe we don't need a crazy amount of stuff in Skeleseller either. And it's all just a matter of just tweaking the systems enough where you feel like, oh, that's very different. In fact, maybe we need to go even more different from what we have. Maybe there should be a perk that like it just says like crops grow without needing potions. I don't think this is very interesting. Well, this one in particular, I don't think is very interesting. Maybe like crops grow at half the speed, but provide 2x the sludge. This is like a trade-off within a positive effect. Perk to change the font size. Okay, this is actually pretty interesting as a trade-off. It's just, this is a positive effect that doesn't look positive at first glance. So then the negative effect that's on the other side of this might be like minus 10% income. You'd be like, wait a second, that's definitely negative. This one doesn't sound all that positive. But the idea here would be that there's less micromanaging for you to do. We could also make it so that it's not like an exact inverse. We could say crops grow at like 70% regular speed, but provide 2x the sludge. But again, this is just like it's just a single dimensional farm perk. You get more sludge from your farm. Grant one skill to a hired adventurer. So I was thinking about that. Like, what if there was a trade-off that said something like +3 random town perks, but yeah, minus 10% income or something like that? You'd probably evaluate this for right now and be like, the town perk cost me 40 gold. So this is going to be like I'm getting 40 plus 45 plus 50. So I'm getting 135 gold. But I guess also in the future, the next town perk will still cost 40. So you are technically saving 15 gold per town perk. At which point this invalidates the other thing that I had that said just minus 10 gold per town perk. But anyway, like, would you pick that? Would you be happy with that? What if you get 3 random ones that aren't very interesting? I think having perks that remove or reduce need for a currency with a trade-off is very interesting. Yeah. So I'm in this weird standstill where I feel like I need ideas for what to make, but I want to know that those ideas are good before I make them. But maybe we should just make stuff and just see where it lands. I think it's much easier to evaluate a system once people are actually using it. So yeah, we could just come up with one of these for every system in the game. And maybe they're interesting, maybe they're not interesting. But this idea of trade-offs having randomization within them, I should write down. We could randomize the positive / negative sides of twists to be event plus action, or like twist equals event plus action. Yeah. For example, event every time you harvest a crop, event every time you cast a spell, action get 1G, action, X% chance to get a fish in the pond. To put a fish in the pond, I guess. I think this would be a little bit too much. There would probably, well, yeah, I don't know. Would it actually? I don't know. This might actually be the most interesting form of this system. But not all of them are going to fit into an event and action style. Some might just be persistent things. Never take hardworking adventures in challenge mode. I think that's a mistake. I think it's a good perk. It's basically the ability to buy workers or to be able to like repurpose characters into workers. But I guess if you never click the worker spell from the enchanter, then you'd never find that interesting. But if you ever were like, oh man, I have too many items. But yeah, it's true. That's how this works. Everyone's gonna have like a play style. The interesting thing is that you can't just, well, I guess pro is there's a lot more uniqueness without us having to code it specifically. Con, players need to read more to understand what's happening. Hey, Galaxy Inferno. That's an awesome perk, yeah. Could have hired a bunch of workers with extra money, but why do that when I could re-roll for more customers instead? Yeah, see? Pro game designer over here. Definitely intentionally did this back before we knew challenge mode would even be a thing. Yeah, so I am kind of okay. Let's just kind of paint this and see what it would look like. So we already have some choices that are in here, right? If we ignore all the cat pictures, I don't have a picture anymore, do I? No, I don't. Oh, come on. All right, how do we do this? We need to go to the trade-off. I don't even have a run started yet. moving everything by hand is so exhausting. Yeah. And I think I am probably going to end up starting players with the quick move menu, but I still need to think about that some more. So I hope I get 3 options here. I only got 2. Well, whatever. All right, let's just take a picture of this. No, I want to take one where there are 3 options because I don't want to have to do the heavy lifting myself. Unfortunately, it's a random chance. There just aren't enough in the game, so sometimes it can generate only 2 options because it pigeonholes itself into not having a how many times. It shouldn't be this common, I'm pretty sure. So I'll try one more time and I'll just take a picture regardless. Because I'm not going to keep doing this. Yeah, okay, fine, whatever. We'll take a picture. So this is a trade-off that we have. So we have, let me transcribe this now. So it is +1 adventurer per battle. Town perks cost 10G more versus plus 10% income. No, plus 5% income. And minus 20% crop value. And so you use the keyboard shortcuts. Yeah, I probably will do that. Maybe we should at least try it out. I was just concerned that what if it lets you ignore workers? But I guess there's enough going on in the game where at some point you're going to be distracted and then your workers will take over for you. Yeah, I should probably do that. I'll write it down. We should probably start the player with the quick move menu. By the way, if we did this, there'd be no reason to fix the bug where you can abuse it anyway, because who cares if someone's doing that in regular mode? There should be an option to toggle it off. I mean, I guess you could just choose not to use it, right? There's already a setting in the game that says to not show the quick move menu. And then as long as you don't use the keyboard shortcuts, then it would be like you don't have it. But yeah, we could make it so that you literally can't use it. That way we know that someone didn't have to, like, there's no honor system. Can I remap the shortcuts? Not now, you can't. What do you want to remap them to? Because actually, this is something I hadn't thought of, but once we localize the game, there might be better, like if A was equal to adventurers for us, in another language, it might be something like, I don't know, B. And then, yeah, maybe we'll want to remap things or allow players to remap. Something closer together. My hand doesn't like the 1 to 5 spread. I see. Are you on a regular keyboard? Because I was going to say, I think a lot of games use at least the first 4 numbers so that it should be comfortable, but I'm not saying this is a reason why we shouldn't allow remapping. The reason why I wouldn't allow remapping at first is just that it's more to code. But I think it's a good thing to have in games. It's 1 to 5 the most. The 4 is in between. Okay, I see. Do you want to try a run where I rely mostly on workers just to see if y'all are up to something? Yeah, I guess that's what industry would do. Does industry start you with hardworking adventurers? I think it does, right? Yeah, it does. Yeah, try out industry if you haven't already. See if you like it. Do something AWS related. Yeah, the WASD is already for the camera, and I think people do use that. So I don't want to mess with that too much. And then 1 through 5 makes sense for the wheel to me. Yeah, maybe we could like do Q, E, Z, and C. That wouldn't even work. We need 5 of them. I don't know. Yeah, I have to think about that. Anyway, so over here, if we go back to the whole event system, so instead of these sorts of things showing up, they could be choices like this. Every time you cook a fish, get plus 5 gold. That's probably crazy. Get like 1 gold maybe. And this could say something like every time you harvest a crop, 1% chance to create a dagger out of the portal. And then maybe we have one more thing here, like, what else do we even have? Adventurers? Income? We could do income. So minus 5% income. And this could say every time you cast a spell. And what were the other ideas that I had for that? Grow crops on your farm? I don't think that's that interesting. Damage an enemy in an ongoing battle? Maybe like heal your adventurers? Give them a power buff? Every time you cast a spell, 5% chance to give a 5-second power buff to all adventurers in battle. So is this more interesting? Now each positive is an event and an action, and each negative is just a straight up easy to understand thing. I mean, the negatives could also take this path. We could say every time you harvest a crop, there's a chance to like delete an item. Hey, Gabby. Thanks for joining the playtest. And I had something else to say. Hang on, I'm trying to rewind to our conversation. Oh yeah, the crashes. I hope those are just a graphics problem because I haven't heard anyone else talk about those, and I think I would have. Which is what leads me to believe it's something about your system. I'm not saying the game is perfect. It's entirely possible there's an issue, but yeah, no one else has reported something like that. All right. So is this more interesting? I mean, I guess there could be things here that just don't make sense or that they could be not very impactful. Yeah, I guess that's a real problem here. Okay. I'm glad I laid this out because I think that's a real problem here. I think the actual problem with this is that the event is all you would probably care about. If you see something like every time you harvest a crop and your farm is huge, then you would probably just take that one. This is already what would be happening if we just had like plus 5% crop value. So I don't see a reason to complicate this. Yeah. Probably my system, but so far no issues. Okay, good. Glad to hear that. Yeah. Okay, so I'm glad I at least talked about that. Yeah, I think what we need to do, I know this is a very roundabout way of coming to these conclusions, but I think what we need to do is add a new trade-off thing for every system and then just see how they feel. So is fish being worth money interesting? Because we could just make one of these things. We could say something like fish are worth 2G in addition to being worth however much sludge. I'll just say worth sludge. Cooking a fish provides 2G in addition to sludge. Yeah. So here, I'm just going to write some ideas down. And whatever sounds the most interesting, we'll go code. That would make for a really easy win. I guess you'd get a bunch of potions. I guess it would change your play style though, right? Isn't that what's kind of interesting about this? Also, if 2 gold is too much, we could say a chance to get 1 gold. Could reframe this to X% chance to get 1G every time you cook a fish. That's the only way we can give a fraction of a gold. Because, yeah, we can't say like you get 0.1 gold, I guess. Flimsy fish +1. Good party, pulling big potions and slime, and you're just streaming money in. Yeah, we'll let you pretty much ignore items in the game. But it all depends on how many fish you can get. I mean, the goal is 7,500 gold, right? So you're dumping potions into the pond to get fish, and then fish are giving gold. The potions could have just given gold. So you're probably not coming out ahead. Yeah, you're never coming out ahead, I think. I know I just lowered the gold cost to 20, and I think you can make this more efficient to the point where it's 60%, so it could be like 8 gold per fish, which, by the way, is nuts. I need to try the fishing specialization. But yeah, I kind of like this idea. Anyway, let's come up with some more ideas and let's figure out then what we want to do, because I think that's the biggest thing we need to do today. So I think this is worthwhile. Whoops. And I think we need to add more trade-off choices. Probably one for each system. And then just evaluate how they feel. If we add even one more trade-off choice, though, it'll prevent you from ever getting 2 options instead of 3, which is nice because that's essentially a bug right now, but it's a bug caused by just lack of content. I knew I'd be adding content. Except time to get gold matters. So if you have a full stand of potions and you're also pumping fish, that's big gold. I mean, we could try it. Yeah, I like the idea then. I think this is fine. I wonder what other things we could have. We could say like cooking a fish. I like the idea of granting weapons for some reason. I don't know why. I guess because sometimes you're light on weapons and the weapons have an interaction with other systems in the game. Yeah. You know what we actually could do here? We could say every fish you defeat in battle has a chance to drop a weapon, and then you get all those weapons when you leave the battle. So if you just left an adventurer in the fishing pond forever, you would not be realizing those items. Well, why don't we just start with this one? Because it sounds like a good plan. So every time you, or what did I phrase this as? Cooking a fish provides X gold in addition to sludge. Yeah, something like that. So I think that one's good. Now we need a warehouse one, an enchanter one, and a garbage slime one. Warehouse, I think we talked about some of these and none of them sounded great. Interest on items in the warehouse. Customers can buy directly. I mean, this one's pretty interesting. Customers can buy directly from the warehouse. That's like a game-changing perk. But there's always going to be a problem between a trade-off is a positive effect and a negative one. How do we ever know if an effect should only be a trade-off or if it should just be a regular perk? Like, wouldn't it be kind of interesting to get this as a regular perk? Customers can buy directly from the warehouse. Also, doesn't this trivialize the whole game? I guess that's what we do it based on, is like the power of the perk. Buying directly from the warehouse is nuts because you can sell any item from there and you have upwards of 64 spaces of storage as opposed to 10 specific ones. What about permanent type upgrades for a run? Every fish you defeat increases the sale price of weapons by 0.1% or something. So I guess it's the difference between, do we want to make you prioritize getting it early or getting it later? And I think the perks sort of inherently do this. Like if you get this early on, 2 gold per fish, you're now able to buy more perks, get buildings sooner, get adventurers sooner, so that getting this earlier on already benefited you. But yes, that is true. We could have something like that. And I think we probably should have some increase the sale price of something. We could have plus X% to something, to a rate of something. E.g., every time you catch a fish, plus 0.1% weapon sale price. So on its own, it does nothing when you catch a fish. You have to sell a weapon for it to matter. Okay, what other... we haven't been touching the battle system too much. I should probably have some things that interact with the battle system. I think this is probably just sort of too powerful. It's sort of like getting more adventurers per battle. customers buying from the warehouse. I mean, we could say they have a lower chance of buying from the warehouse. Yeah. Okay, cat. I'm sorry. You were adorable, but I need my legs back. I'm sorry, Abby. I'm sorry. Will you please? Catso? Cat. Okay. Bye, cat. I'm sorry. She just wanted to sit on my lap. It's a rude Adam stream. Is that Adam needs his legs stream. Animal cruelty. He's so adorable. All right, the interest on items thing I could kind of see happening. It could be like every. I guess this doesn't really have to make sense, but yeah, every. I have some notes on this. What in Discord? Warehouse interest. Probably best framed as items in the warehouse earn 1 gold for every 15 seconds they sit there. We could also do things like max out the warehouse. It could just be something like get all possible warehouse storage. So this is upwards of 7 levels worth of perks. But if you already had some, then it's not very valuable for you. It's also kind of a specialization that we're just granting to you. What else do we have? I mean, I think some kind of duplicating items thing would probably be interesting. Maybe new item in the warehouse. Duplicating items. Yeah, I don't know what to do for that. Promoting keeping a warehouse full. The issue is, in order to keep it full, you just go fight in like the low level area. You'd get a ton of items. It'd be pretty easy to keep filled. But then I guess the point is that those items aren't worth very much. So keeping a full warehouse would need to be... Okay, yeah, what if we did that? Like for every filled item, or for every filled slot in your warehouse, deal like 1 damage to a random enemy at the beginning of battle. So you can have up to 64 filled slots. And I mean, maybe we put a cap on this or something, or we say that it can't kill enemies. And yeah, maybe it's like deal 1 or 3 damage per filled slot. Warehouse ambush. Yeah, this doesn't make any sense. But yeah, let's go take a look now at enemy data. So let's say you're fighting in the volcano. Volcano bats have 130 life, and there are 3 of them. So there's 300 total life in a volcano battle. So this could do upwards of 192 damage. I mean, it's not interesting in the volcano, I guess. Maybe we should just say it's a percentage of life, so that even later battles become easier. And I guess the point is that you're bouncing between battles. It's, again, one of these like game changer kinds of abilities. I might as well write it down. I don't know if it's worth coding. X could be a percentage. Hey, Bressel. All right, well, we came up with the pond one. Let's come up with the last 2 of these. If I can't come up with a warehouse, then fine. Maybe we just come up with some random thing. I think something that affects battles would be pretty interesting, though. We have the adventurer one. Maybe it could be like every time you kill an enemy. I guess you can kill enemies pretty quickly. But yeah, every time you kill an enemy, like maybe get gold from just winning battles. All right, well, what enchanter things do I have? What's worth coding? I don't have any enchanter things written down? Seriously? Oh, hey, I already have this here. Every time you sell an item, deal 1 damage to all enemies that you're fighting in battle. Actually, this is kind of interesting. I don't even know what it would take to do this. I guess we need the battle system to listen every time you sell an item and then deal 1 damage to everything. But um, yeah, it's kind of interesting. So you start selling like 10 items per second, you're doing an extra 10 DPS. It's not even that crazy. It's actually probably not even effective in a lot of cases. Huh. So I don't have any other enchanter things. Maybe it could say something like, while you have a spell active, do something. I don't know what the something is. Maybe like while you have a spell active, crops grow faster. 50% faster. Okay, so stuff like this I do think is kind of cool. And I think this is probably where we want to make most perks go for this. That they're interesting interplays between systems. But I don't want everything to be based on the farm. So what else could we do here? All this is decent. I don't know. Let's just write that down for now. Sure, whatever. And then the garbage slime. It could be like chance on eating an item to not lose hunger. But I think that should probably just be a regular perk. Because I don't think that's like super interesting. Maybe it could be like every time the slime critically eats, gain hunger. It's probably a bad idea. Because the percentages would work out to that it would just like super overpower the slime. We can't just give you more money. I mean, we could make it so that you can start earning sludge from this. Get 1 sludge, something like that. You can feed crops to the slime to gain hunger. That poses kind of a weird UI challenge, which is that normally the farm is something that you just click and it harvests. So if you'd have the choice, then you need to have a way of clicking and like bringing it to the garbage slime. Or maybe what you mean is just as this slime gets fed, that this thing's hunger goes up. We call it like telepathically linked slimes. That could potentially work. Yeah, actually, that's not a bad idea. I like that. It'd be like every time you cook a crop, every time the chef slime cooks, the garbage slime gets +1 hunger or +X hunger. I like that. I like that. It's pretty good. Huh. It is an interesting idea. I also like this idea. The critical eating thing, what chance is that? There's a 45% chance. So if you're just feeding it tons and tons of items, I guess it could even be cheapo items. You could just start harvesting like trash and get so much trash and just have the garbage slime eat all of it so that you're hopefully getting more sludge. But I think in practice, this won't work out to be all that useful for somebody. Do you have a goal for release date when you make games? I find that the goal doesn't ever really matter. I end up pushing it anyway. So no, that's not really why I do it though. It's mostly so that people watching videos can tell like, oh, when was the last time I watched this, or which video did I leave off on. It's more for posterity than it is for planning. Yeah, this is kind of hard to analyze. This would probably be very good if you just got a bunch of trash items and fed them to the slime constantly. But then I guess you're getting trash. Maybe we say it's based on the value of the item. So like every time you feed this slime, get X% of the gold value as sludge. Yeah, this could be kind of interesting. However, I think sludge is tracked as an integer. Sludge is an integer, yeah. So we can't necessarily do this. Because if you put in a 3 gold item, we can't give you like 0.3 sludge. Although I guess we could track it. We could track a floating point number for this, like sludge bonus. Yeah, that would work. Why don't you go for day one? I mean, the VODs are available. You can check them out. Yeah, this is kind of interesting too. I like that idea. There's more money for items. Auto eat from the warehouse when a max hunger. I mean, I think this is pretty good. This is probably what we should do. And it's only when they're at maximum hunger anyway. Yeah, this is actually really nice. Okay, I think we should code that one. But then there's another idea I want to write down here, which is, yeah, every time you feed the garbage slime, get X% sludge. We would probably need to track a floating point sludge amount for this, even if it's in addition to the integer amount. Alternatively, we could just make sludge into a floating point everywhere. Accumulate inside the garbage slime and create a super item. But then wouldn't you just feed that super item right back to the slime? Because what I'm thinking is, even if it generated a super item, it's sort of like it's just giving you more gold from every sale or every eat. And you might not even notice it's giving you a super item. I guess we could do something with guild supplies, though. I hadn't thought of that. That's actually, yeah, like I have this written down too. Guild supplies can spawn from battle. Maybe that's a warehouse upgrade and not a treasure room upgrade. Like every so often you can get guild supplies from battle. I kind of like that idea. Maybe it's slime coated and he doesn't want to eat it. Well, it would effectively still be the same thing, right? That you're getting money, extra money from the garbage slime. And since it's one item and not like I spewed out 14 different items, I think maybe a way of theming that would be like the garbage slime is giving you guild supplies when you feed it. That could be kind of interesting. There's a guy in Jurassic World Rebirth that kind of looks like you. Okay, let's go look up the cast. Who's in this movie? All right. Who would I look like of these people? Not this person. I don't see anyone who looks like me. Who are you thinking? Jonathan Bailey. Where is he in this list? That guy? All right. Let's see. Is it because he has glasses? Oh, man. All right. Well, fine. We're going to write this down. I write down every time someone says I look like somebody else, and the messages just never stop. So let's write all of this down. There we go. Why is this tabbed weirdly? What happened there? There we go. This is one of the worst ones. I think the worst one was the B movie one. I think that was the worst one. I think being told I look like an actual human being is okay. I do like the idea of guild supplies spawning. I kind of want to do that. The B movie one is accurate. I do sort of like this. Yeah, I do like this. We can be pretty generous with this too. I think this does not look appealing though. Every time the chef slime cooks, the garbage slime gets plus X hunger. It's a different way of having the appetite system work, but it makes sense. And auto eat from the warehouse. I think this is one I want to code though. The garbage slime will eat from the warehouse when at max hunger. All right, what else do we have here? Cooking and fish provides X gold. Free treasure chests every so often. We have that. While you have a spell active, crops grow faster. What else? What else? What else? Aren't I missing something here? We have these already. Oh, this one's very boring. And I guess we have some other things too. Cooking of fish, we said that one. We said this one. We have one for that. So we just need the warehouse one. I think the warehouse one could be for guild supplies somehow. I mean, the simplest thing we could do is we could just say something like 5% chance. No, we can't do that. What am I doing? I was going to say 5% chance to get a guild supply from battle. But then you could just fight in the low level areas. And the 5% chance is now sort of negated. So we need to probably base it on the value of loot from battles. So we could just say something like chance from battle. Chance to get guild supplies from a battle as loot from a battle. The chance scales with the difficulty of the battle. The thing I don't like about this is that it's sort of unspecific. You don't know how to weigh this against something else because you don't know what the chance is. I mean, we could tell you what they are, I suppose. We could say, like, the forest has a 1% chance, the volcano has a 2% chance. Or maybe we let you figure it out based on the level. So this is probably not a good idea to do. But if I were to do this, this is how I would do it. So we should write this down in the treasure room one. Maybe... I mean, I kind of like it as a garbage slime thing, actually. Like, chance for the garbage slime to emit, or to, like, yeah, emit a guild supply after eating too much. And now it's on a warehouse thing. But stealing the chest spawning idea. Every 60 seconds, you can generate guild supplies based on the amount of empty space in your warehouse. Interesting. Very interesting. So it's like free treasure chests, but it requires you to have an empty warehouse. I think incentivizing an empty warehouse is actually more interesting than incentivizing a full one. I should probably even write that down. There's a warehouse stuff. Note, I think it's actually better to incentivize having an empty warehouse than a full one. A full one is very easy to attain by fighting in the forest a bunch, but leads to other problems. An empty one means you have a problem. Yeah, I like that idea. So something along the lines of for each empty space in your warehouse. Actually, I don't even know if we need to do it for each empty space, but like increase the chance of generating a guild supply. I guess it'd just be a random guild supply. But what if we just deleted that clause and we just said like every 30 seconds generate a guild supply in the warehouse if there's an empty slot? First of all, one supply is not too crazy. So the numbers would need to change. So just ignore that part, I guess. But every X seconds. I guess having it scale by having it be based on the empty slots is interesting. And X could just change. So yeah, maybe it's like every 50 seconds generate a guild supply in the warehouse. The more empty spaces, the more empty room you have in your warehouse, or the more empty, yeah, space you have in your warehouse, the more this can trigger multiple times. We'd have to phrase this better, but this is probably the best formulation of this so far. So like you're guaranteed 1 if there's an empty space. If you have 64 empty spaces, maybe you should get like 4 to 5, and then we just fill in the blanks. So if you have 32 empty spaces, maybe you're getting like 3. So 32 empty spaces would typically give like 3 maybe. We could ratchet that up or down as needed. Or maybe we just do it based on how many you have and it's not even a chance. We could just say every 50 seconds you get like ceiling of empty spaces divided by 12 field supplies in your warehouse. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah. I think that's how we do this. I think for people to try to game this at a 50-second interval would be very tough. So if they manage to do it, 1, I don't think that's fun, but 2, I think it's incredibly hard. And 3, if the juice is worth the squeeze, right? If you want the guild supplies, then go for it. Okay, I like this. I like this a lot. Yeah. Hey, okay. All right, so we're going to code these 4 things, and then I guess we're going to push a new build. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's go get started. All right, so cooking a fish provides X gold in addition to sludge. Let's go add an ability ID. Fish give gold. I need to reload this already. All right, so this is got to be how much gold do you get? And are we saying it's an integer value? I guess it doesn't matter. Sure, it can be an integer value. So where do we, I guess here, town per cost is where we do this. So let's save this as fish give gold. Go put this over here. Int amount. Data, we require the pond for this. Yeah, nice. Okay, then this is amount. This is amount. This is amount. That's good, good. So generating this, we need an amount of gold that we're going to give you. So number of trade-offs presented, maybe just that much. So if you've gotten 0 trade-offs, it's going to give you 1 gold per fish, maybe +1. And then we can't have this be negative, right? This should just be a positive perk. Yeah. I think costing you money every time you cook a fish is a really bad idea. So let's only allow this one to be negative, or only allow this to be positive. So amount equals that. This should be amount, and this should be fish give gold. Okay, so every time you cook a fish, you get amount in addition to sludge. Yeah. Well, wisdom sludge, I guess. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we just got to go code this. Should be pretty simple. Chef Slime already has a cook fish function. So we just modify the amount of money you have too. There's no modify money from here, right? But town has modify money. And it actually modify money at position. So where do we do the position stuff? I guess let's just go look at the garbage line for that. Modify money at position. Here it is. All right, let's copy paste this. Technically, this should be altered by your income amount, right? But if we do that, then we're going to do the ceiling of that. So instead of giving 2 gold, they're going to give you 3 gold, which is a big difference here when it's only supposed to be like a 5% increase. But yeah, I guess let's do it. So where's the multiplier? We don't do this here? Oh, no, we do. We just modify get scrap price. Yeah, here it is. Hey, Soli, how you doing? Okay, so grant money if applicable. And then just put all this stuff down there. Private, void, grant money if applicable. All right, so move all this down to here. Go figure out how we modify money at position. It's global position plus a certain vector. I guess let's just copy the whole thing. Oh, we already did copy the whole thing. Okay, now the amount. So amount is going to be equal to... Oh, that doesn't look right. Compute income. There it is. That's what I want. That's the part I'm looking for. Did skydiving? Nice. Yeah, I've never been skydiving before. I'd probably be terrified. Okay, so the amount of money needs to be whatever this is. This amount. Which you might not even have this thing. And if you don't have this thing, then I guess we just return from here. So fish give gold is get ability or default. And if it's null, then just return. And if it exists, then we figure out how much it should give you based on the amount. All right, how do we do this? We say compute fish give gold dot amount. And then show plus X gold. There is no crit text here. Okay, I think that's everything. Hey Thomas, how you doing? I'm reaching out to last days of my vacation. I want to go back and focus on making games. Oh, nice. You have any game ideas in mind? All right, let me put this down at the bottom. Okay, so if you have the ability, then we do something. If not, we don't do anything. And the thing that we do is we figure out what amount you should be getting, and we compute it through your income amount. And then we just grant it to you. Seems pretty reasonable. So now let's go try this out. Town challenge mode. We're going to put you into fishing mode by default. So I start with the pond. And then we're going to give you add ability. Oh, that's here. Add ability. We'll give you fish give gold. And sure, 3. This is going to put a lot of text on the chef slime, which I don't like. It won't be too bad when there's 1 fish, but when there's like a ton of crops and whatever else. All right, so now all I need to do is fight here. And we should see every time we get a fish that we also get whatever I typed in, 3 gold, I guess. Let's speed this up a bit. This is with flimsy fish. Okay, so they're about to harvest 1, I think. Come on. Attack the top fish. Ugh. Should just put the rogue into a battle. There we go. Yeah, plus 3 gold. Nice. Okay, that's the perk. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Saw a game called Mr. Farm Boy. I think it looks similar to yours in Zoomed Out. Have you seen it? Yeah, that's by what's his name? Mr. D Boy, I think, on stream. We've been in each other's streams before. And I think the aesthetics are similar. I mean, it's an automation based game, but I guess that one's more about sort of building up just a farm. And I don't know what he's planning on doing for replayability. But I suspect it's going to have to be something. I wonder if he'll go a challenge mode route as well. But I think just because two games look similar doesn't really make them similar. Like a lot of people have said this looks a lot like Stardew Valley. And yeah, it does to some extent, but it doesn't play like Stardew Valley. All right, so this is fish give gold, and we need to now add it as a positive thing. So we go to trade-off generator, and we add it in the positive choices here. Ability ID fish give gold. Nice. Now we need another negative one. We need an exclusively negative one. And I don't know if any of these are going to be... Oh, we could make this one negative. Crops grow slower while you have an enchanter spell active. You might just be like, well, I'll just never use the enchanter. This one can't be negative. This one can't be negative. Yeah. Maybe we allow this one to be negative. We do need a negative only. Wait, do we need that? Because we might take only those. Yeah, we need a negative only idea. Because what's the problem here? We might have taken these three as positives. We just need something else that can be negative. It doesn't need to be negative only. Hey, Sniper. All right, well, this has been coded. Let's go check it in. So it'll give you 2 gold. I mean, we need to test this too. When I say test, I mean play test. We just did test it. So we know it's working. So I don't want to check in any of this stuff, right? Yeah, I just want to check in the top stuff. Okie doke. Does each fish in fishing pond adds 1% power to enemies in location? It's pretty interesting. It would mean that you would need to not prioritize your fishing pond in upgrades or prioritize it in harvesting. But you'd probably be prioritizing it anyway. So we'd need to make it so that it like drastically increases the power of them. So not just 1%, but more like 10%. I like that. I like that idea. I'm probably going to write this down here. For each fish in your fishing pond, increase the power of all enemies by 10%. It would mean that you'd get like wrecked, absolutely wrecked in battles, unless you're keeping your fishing pond cleared out. In fact, this is one of those things I could totally see being a trade-off within itself. Like fish eggs cost 1 gold. And then on the flip side of this, like for each fish in your fishing pond, increase the power of all enemies by 10%. So it's like you can have as many fish as you need, but you'll also potentially make it so you can't win any other battles. But yeah, that's a pretty good idea. Interested in level-based puzzle games like Baba Is You? Baba Is You is, I think, a pretty inspired idea. And Puli has been streaming on Twitch, by the way, making a new game. But yeah, I think the idea is phenomenal. I think the execution was really good. I think it's very hard to make games like that. And I think there's a certain amount of creativity that goes into puzzles specifically. Like coming up with the structure for a puzzle is different from making the puzzle itself. Like a long time ago, I made a game where imagine a grid of spaces. So something like this. And in this grid, there were arrows. So maybe something like this. And then your character. So maybe you're this X. So let's say you move over here, over here, over here, over here, over here, over here. So you could only move one tile at a time. When you're finally here, So you've moved your character. This arrow would then move such that it's facing you. So it would move closer to you over to here. And it becomes a wall. So now you can't move left anymore from this position. But you could move up and go around it. But there might be an arrow in, let's say, like, I don't know, in this position. And anyway, that was the structure of the puzzle. Now coming up with the ideas that were actual puzzles was difficult. And it turned out to not be very fun. So the only thing I could think to make it more fun is to give you a turn limit. Like you pretty much had to find the fastest path through this puzzle, but the walls move based on the arrow positions. Anyway, that's one of the puzzle games I came up with a while ago, and like I said, it wasn't very fun. Yeah, Baba is You is a very unique idea. Have you ever thought of making a 3D game? Not really. I just haven't been too interested. Your games seem pretty cool, but honestly, I feel like the cutesy graphics turn off a lot of players. Wind Waker did horrible compared to more adult-looking Zelda games. Yeah, I think some people will like the aesthetic and some people won't. But I also think the same is true of 3D games. Some people won't like 3D games and will be like, oh, the controls are too complicated. It all depends on the demographic you're trying to reach. So like I've had my wife play Minecraft, for example, and she's not used to like WASD games. So she's running through the world like with the camera angled down the whole time. So she can't see anything. So she can't appreciate Minecraft and she like hates the game. And it's kind of funny because it's like, okay, well, we know Minecraft is super popular. So it's not like her opinion is indicative of a larger player base's opinion. It's just kind of a skill issue, to be honest. And yeah, you don't need as much of that in a 2D game. But all in all, it also comes down to like, what's the asset cost then to make those things? You need to make a 3D model. You need to animate those. You need to have meshes for those and texture them and everything. Sometimes sprite-based games are just sort of cheaper to make too. Add a hidden mine, like Minesweeper. Oh, in the arrow game? All right, so add fish give gold ability. Okay, so this is just a positive one. So that one's done. Next up is the garbage slime will eat from the warehouse when it max hunger. So right now, how does it even find items to eat? It looks for ground items. And what we're saying is it's only when it's at max hunger going to try pulling from the warehouse. Should this happen automatically or only every so often? I guess the only every so often is it's only when it's at max hunger. So it's automatically only going to be every so often. Okay, that's pretty reasonable. Sure. So let's go code that one. This one is purely a Boolean ability. We could have it pick a certain number of items from the warehouse, but I don't really think that matters. So I think it's just a Boolean ability. Do we have any other Boolean abilities that I've added recently? Free treasure chest has an interval. Income multiplier has a number. Different adventure limits has a number. Yeah, all these have numbers. But I guess the closest one is free treasure chest. Let's just go take that one. And we'll say garbage slime eats from warehouse. All right. So this does not have a parameter here. It is still technically a trade-off ability, I guess. Just doesn't have a parameter. And this requires, oh, it requires 2 buildings. We don't have that ability. Yeah, we don't have that ability. Oh, I'll have to write that down. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. And I did sneeze. Also note, what is it? This one, garbage slime eats from warehouse. Requires 2 buildings, but we have no way of manifesting that. I mean, we could just make it a list of building IDs and say that you need all of them. But, or we could. Yeah, we should probably just make a list of all of them. All right, so delete this. This doesn't need to get saved at all. Get interval in seconds doesn't need to be there. Generate doesn't need to be there. Well, it's still needed. I guess we just don't do anything from it. Get description is just going to be this blank. And it's going to be, what do we call this? Garbage slime foraging. I'm going to call it foraging. The garbage slime will eat an item from the warehouse. Will automatically eat an item from the warehouse when at maximum hunger. Slime manager? The way I looked at it is like the garbage slime is looking to your warehouse. Maybe like garbage slime greed. Greedy garbage slime. That's pretty decent. Let's go with that one for now. Or maybe just hungry garbage slime. I don't know. Yeah, I think greedy's fine. Okay, so we'll eat an item from your warehouse when at maximum hunger. So this is seek item on ground to eat. Try auto eat. How often do we do this? There's a cooldown on that. So this one in particular, we wouldn't have a cooldown on. And we do it before we do the auto eat stuff. Hey, Uber Lupus. So we'll say try eating from warehouse. Gluttony. I like the greed angle here. Because it's actually at maximum hunger, so it's not really gluttonous exactly. All right, so for this, we got to get the garbage slime eats from warehouse. I guess just, yeah, let's call it ability. Town.player abilities dot get ability or default. Ability ID dot that. And cast it. What did I do for the fish thing? Chef slime. Oh, I just cast it. Yeah, that's fine. Wait, what? What? That should be a question mark. Whoops. I don't know what that would have done. Maybe nothing. I don't think it stops it from being null. It's just a little bit weird. All right, so that's the ability. So if the ability is null, then yeah, just return. Greedy, gluttonous, garbage, gobbledygook. It's amazing. All right, so try auto eat. Seek item on ground. If ground item source is not null, get pickup point, remove item, drop off item, auto eat. So this is going to be like eat item from source. Item source, I think it is. Ground item source. Ground item source is an item source, right? Yeah, item source. All right, so we should be able to just put this here and then change ground item source to just source. Everything else should work fine. And then this can say eat item from source. And that allows us to do this here. And we just need to figure out where there is any filled space. Why is this yellow? Change type of source for improved performance. Oh yeah, because I haven't written the next function yet. This perk is gonna be pretty crazy. It's gonna be like the thing to get on the garbage enjoyer specialization, because it means you don't have to micromanage the slime anymore. In fact, it's possibly too good. But yeah, I don't know. So let's just code it and then figure out how good or bad it was. So you need the warehouse. So if the ability is null or the warehouse is null, then just bail out. Otherwise, do we have a way of getting a filled slot in the warehouse? We should. Get filled, get occupied or empty. Here it is. But this is an O of N function, isn't it? Oh, we also need to be at max hunger. I forgot that. So get occupied or empty. That's what we need to do. Bar testosterone. I'll name this in a second. Town.warehouse.get. Get is occupied. Is occupied is true. We replace this. And then based on whatever that is, we say occupied item displays, I guess. Yep. All right, occupied item displays. Actually, why even bother doing this? Shouldn't we just have like a get random filled item display? We should probably actually get the closest one. I'm not going to worry about that yet. Let's just do this. All right, so occupied item displays. There needs to be at least one. We need to be at max hunger. or hunger. Where's the hunger value that we currently have? Value equals max hunger. There it is. So the value is less than max hunger. Okay, so now we need this to be, if the count is this, then return. And we can just say if it's greater than 0. Then we get the item source. So we say item source equals occupied. Oh, you know what? We could always just get the very first one of these. I don't know if this is going to be at the top of the warehouse or at the bottom of the warehouse. How is this? How do we get these? We're just going through all item displays, and all item displays work their way up. Yeah, so this should be good. This technically also means you could control it a little bit. So let's go try that out. Yeah, let's try that out. So now we need to start on the garbage enjoyer spec and give ourselves the warehouse. Yeah, I'm curious about this. All right, so build the warehouse. All right, so we're just going to speed this up. We have no items. So we're going to hit max hunger and nothing should happen. I never gave myself the ability, so nothing's going to happen no matter what. I forgot to give it to the character. All right, garbage slime eats from warehouse there. So now it'll work. Let's also give ourselves a bunch of money. Money equals 5,000. All right, now it'll be functional. I guess what we should have done is tried putting an item in there to make sure it wouldn't do anything. But yeah, so now we go build the warehouse. We need to be offered the warehouse. There it is. We're going to get to max hunger now. Nothing should happen. Right? No errors. Good. Then we put an item in the warehouse and it should just immediately be taken. Oh, all of them were taken? Because there's flight time. It's actually kind of interesting. So had we filled the entire warehouse, it would have taken every single item from there. Watch this. It's going to look very stupid. Oh my god. Yeah, so we gotta stop that from happening. I guess there does need to be a limit on this. And it's got to be a different timer from the other one. Or we check to see if there's an item flying toward this thing. I don't think we need to do that though. So cooldown, where is that cooldown? Try auto eat. Cooldown equals infinite. Auto eat cooldown, here it is. It's like a black hole for items. Yeah, so this is auto eat from warehouse cooldown. We only need this to prevent eating all items from the warehouse at once. All right, so in process, this also needs to be minus equal. Why is this even a float? This should just be a double. Then we don't need to do whatever I just did there. Yeah, delete these. Okay, so if this is less than or equal to 0, then try eating from warehouse. And I guess we need to set this back if we do this here. So just set it to something low enough, like 1 second should be fine. Yeah. Well, the maximum flight time is 0.6 seconds, which is just hard-coded somewhere. Heck, if I can find that. Yeah, we probably need to search for like this, maybe. No, it doesn't work. F. Ah, there it is. Max duration. So this is how long it can take to fly an item toward you. So we need to wait for at least that long. We could make this public. And I'm okay with it eating multiple things. So I'm going to set this to 0.75. No, I'm going to make this public. Fine. Public const float max flight duration 0.6. So delete that. Do that. Then go code this to be fly functions dot max flight duration plus like the tiniest amount. math f dot epsilon. Math dot epsilon? Where does this come from? You can only get it from math f. Doesn't have epsilon? Do we not use epsilon somewhere? Math? Oh, it's a lowercase f. Why is there a capitalized F? What is that? Is that some like Godot thing? It might be. I don't know what that is. Probably though. All right, so cooldown. We set this here, then we get this stuff. Yeah, so this should work. So now it won't eat everything from the warehouse. It'll just eat one thing at a time. We're still going to try it as though it's got a bunch of things in the warehouse. So first up, we build the warehouse. Yep. Then we fill out the warehouse. Then we fill in the warehouse. And then we wait for us to be at max hunger. All right. So it just, oop, I didn't actually see what happened. Also, couldn't it try taking, it's going to eat all these things from the ground. All right. So we just need to speed this up. Couldn't it try taking an item that I'm holding at the time? I think it will. So it should only take one thing this time. Yep. Nice. All right. But what if I'm holding that one thing? What does it do? It probably just takes it out of my hand. Yep. But then I still have the item on my mouse, and now I can't use it. So it can't just take the occupied item display. It needs to take the first one that... Actually, maybe we need to fix this bug in general. Couldn't this happen? How does it not happen when it's on the ground? I must have done something there. Try auto eat. Seek item on ground to eat. Get item to auto eat. It makes sure it's not held. I see. And make sure it's about to disappear and that it's close enough. All right. Well, then we need to do that. So dot first or default. So now this is an item display. Item display. If this is not null. And then we just put a where clause in here. Display dot get item. We know that it has to exist. Is held. And it's got to not be held. And that is a what? Like that? No, it's a function. What am I doing wrong? Oh yeah, dot. Okay, cool. All right, there it is. Let's try that now. Wait, why is where underlined? Drop where and move condition. Oh yeah, I didn't realize you could do that. Sure. Whoops. That is very ergonomic though. Okay, well, it's the same code. So all we need to do is still just test this here, and I don't need to do anything afterward. All right, so we're going to give a few items into this. Good. Then we're at maximum. I'm going to hold this item, and it's not going to take it from me. It's going to take the next cloak. Perfect. All right, this is very, very powerful. Yeah, very powerful, especially when the hunger is filling up that fast. This is probably going to like single-handedly win this specialization. I don't like the idea of there being a best thing to get unless it's rare enough that you can't count on it. Yeah. But hey, it's fun. It works. All right, so now we need to allow you to get it. So we go to the generator for this, and we put this in here. What's it called? Garbage slime eats from warehouse? Yeah. All right. Looks good. This is a minor fix. I'll check it on its own. Actually, in fact, I could probably just amend the last commit. Isn't that where I added that? Yep. So let's amend. There. Now it's like we did everything correctly the first time. Looks good. Looks good. Yeah, I think this is all pretty reasonable. This is the only thing I might have changed, but I think it's fine to have that here. This shouldn't be checked in. This shouldn't be checked in. None of that should be. Okay, cool. All right, get ready for a stupidly powerful build. All right, next up, every 50 seconds you get some number of guild supplies in your warehouse. This is interesting. I don't know what's going to be balanced for this. And I don't know why I'm trying to think about balance right now when we're probably just going to code it anyway. Now, there's kind of an issue, which is that you can't turn this off once it's on. And even at the, let's say you got, I don't know, 5 items every minute. If they were all for the same adventurer, it would be a guaranteed upgrade for that adventurer. Because the way that we require this is it's 1 supply for level 2, and then so on and so forth. 2 for level 3, ... and then 5 for level 6, and then 5 from then onward. So that's why 5 is a guarantee, because it's never higher than 5. But the very first time you get 5, if you got 5 for the same adventurer, you'd get 2 levels at once. So early on, this is actually pretty good. Later on, it's still decent. It's just probably not great. And there are 10 adventurers, and it generates items for any of them. So yes, early on, it's like 5 free level ups. That's great. Or I don't know, it's going to be 5, but it's going to be a bunch of free level ups. And then later on, it's going to be basically worthless. Because if all of your adventurers are upgrading at kind of the same rate, then they're all going to probably require like 3 to 4 on average. And the odds of you getting 3 to 4 for any single adventurer, it's going to take you many minutes for that. So I almost wonder if this should say that it only generates guild supplies for adventurers that you have. But I think that's even crazier. Yeah, I guess I just don't see this being very effective right now. In fact, it almost makes me wonder, what if this just literally filled your warehouse every minute with guild supplies? Like, would that be too powerful? It probably would be. Yes, I think we just need to balance this a little bit higher up. So maybe it's always every minute, and we just change the number of empty spaces you need based on when you're getting this perk. And it's just not so great at the beginning. Yeah, something like that. Every 60 seconds. I like every 50 seconds. Every 60 seconds makes you look at the timer and be like, oh, there are 33 minutes left. That means that I'm getting this 33 times. But 50 seconds, people look at that and they say, I can't do math, which is a very different outcome. They're like, it could be a million times. Who knows what 33 divided by 0.88 is or whatever. Or times 0.88. Okay, let's go code this. So what do we call this? Free guild supplies? Might as well. I'm not calling players, well, not my players, stupid. But for real, if you did think about that, like if you ask the average person, hey, there are 33 minutes remaining and every 50 seconds something happens, I don't think the average person can tell you how many times will that thing happen then. I don't even think they'd know the math to do this, but that's because we're talking about the average person. It's not difficult math, right? It's 50 divided by 60 times 33. So it happened. Or wait, no, it's the other way around. My bad. 60 divided by 50 times 33. It happened 39.6 times. Um, yeah, it's. I know this is like a Kappa statement anyway, but still. All right, so this is going to be parameterized. It's going to be parameterized like how Fish Give Gold was parameterized. Let's say this is free guild supplies. And this isn't exactly amount. We're going to do like, it's going to be this number. No, sorry, it's going to be this number, the 12, which is like the empty space divisor. That is what a divisor is, right? Wait, what? Is it the dividend or the divisor I'm talking about right now? I don't care. I'm going to just say like empty space factor, which is probably even worse. And this will get saved as a mount. I don't care about that. We're not going to rename that. This requires the warehouse. Everything else there looks good. This is get the empty space factor. Okay. Generate. So what do we want to do for this? We're going to take the number of empty spaces and divide it by a number here. So maybe on average you end up in a game with like, well, you're going to start with 8. Start with 8 slots. Not all are empty. And you could have up to 64. And again, not all of them would be empty. So maybe on average you have like 16 or 24 slots, and maybe like half are empty. So maybe you have like 10 empty slots, let's say. And you should probably get like 2 guild supplies for that much. So we divide by 5 at first, which would mean if you did have 64 that you'd get 12 guild supplies. That's probably pretty reasonable. Yeah, let's divide by 5 at first. So that plus 4. All right, so this is going to be called free guild supplies. Every interval, I guess we would have 2 things here, but the interval is going to be constant for this. Public const int interval equals 50. So every interval, the warehouse, how did I phrase this? Guild supplies will produce guild supplies. Will fill with guild supplies based on how many empty slots, spaces. What do I call this? Four more items. Storage. Maybe based on how much empty storage you have. How many empty slots you have. Yeah, something like that. Fill is kind of misleading here. And we don't even tell you how this works. Oh, all right. I don't know how to write this in such a way that the player is going to be able to understand this. Every 50 seconds, fill maybe like number of slots to fill. Warehouse slots with guild supplies. No, we can't just have it be a number. It's based on, oh God, based on how many you have. So we need to present that to the player if we're going to do that. Fill some number of warehouse slots with guild supplies. The number is equal to the number of empty slots divided by that. Okay. It's descriptive at least. It's a little confusing. So now we need to fill these things in. The interval is something we already did for free treasure chests. So let's just go copy that. because I'm not writing this out again. And that's going to just be interval. And then the factor is going to be, this is only positive, right? Yeah. If it's only positive, we don't need to format delta. We can format number. And this is going to be empty space factor. And then we just delete the rest of that. Why is that a problem now? Cannot convert from int. Oh, this has to be a string. To string. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now we would go code this. Let's start by granting this ability. What's it called? Free guild supplies. And then we need a number in here, right? Empty space factor. We can't ever have this be 0. Because we're dividing by a number, right? Yeah. So let's start it at 5. And then in the warehouse, we need to do this every so often. So just like how in the treasure room, we had some timer for this. Time until granting free chest. Yeah, we got to do pretty much everything we did for this. So private double time until granting free guild supplies. And then we need a player ability change. Oh, nice. We already have that. Whew, great. All right. So this goes over here. Reset free guild supplies timer if applicable. Yeah. All right. So go wipe that out. Nice. So town.player abilities has unlocked free guild supplies. Then time until granting is going to be this interval. It's just a public constant thing. Okay, so that looks good. We need to do this, though, in every case. So when you build the warehouse, we need to do this. And then there's one other case, which is that process runs out. So copy this over there. We don't have a process already. Although the parent might. Process. No, we don't. Okay. We got to be careful that we don't mess this up. So let's have it call the base process just in case I add one in the future. All right, so this is going to be time until granting this. If it's less than 0. Grant free guild supplies. We don't need any of that stuff. And now for this function to make sense, we need to go through all the empties. No, first we need to figure out how many we're granting. So in num supplies to grant equals, first we need the number of empty spaces. Num empty slots equals get occupied. Is there a get empty? No, but there's this. We just set it to false. We get the count. That's the number of empty slots. Now the number to grant is going to be based on this factor that we have here. So int factor, or like empty slot factor, is going to be equal to the free guild supplies dot get empty space factor. And this takes in player abilities. Yes. Town dot player abilities. So the number to grant is going to be equal to, actually, I guess we could have just done that, right? We could have just, instead of, well, it doesn't really matter. All right, so it's the number of empty slots divided by the empty slot factor. Let's also do a math.max here because of how rarely this is going to happen. So we set this to at least 1. So we don't run into any issues. And then we just go through and we grant that many. So for, or like while num supplies to grant is greater than 0. Oh, wait, no. That's not how this can work. This has to be, oh no, it already is that way. And this can't be greater than the amount that we had originally. Yeah, math dot minimum of the number of empty slots and this, just in case the factor can be a fraction, but that's not possible right now. And this should technically be a floating point number that we round up, whereas right now it's integer math, so it's truncated and it'll round down. So math dot ceiling of float num empty divided by that. And then this needs to be an integer. And then we just go through and grant these. While this is greater than 0. Yeah. So now we need to grant one supply. I don't have a way of doing that. And I guess we're going to grant them in order of the empty slots. So I probably should just do this. How do we make guild supplies in the first place? Treasure room. Get loot. Loot? Oh no, treasure chest has loot, not the room. What am I doing? Treasure chest. Loot. There it is. Yeah, that's the function I was looking for. So we just call loot.addItem. Oh, you know what we could do? We could do this even better than this. Although it's going to look like they're coming from the portal, I guess. We just come up with the loot, and then we just add it all to the warehouse at once. So loot equals new. And there's some way of adding this, right? How do we do that? Town warehouse.add grant. I don't know where that is. Yeah, I have no idea where that is. How do we add loot? Add items. Add items. Warehouse.grant items. There it is. Okay. And that takes in loot, doesn't it? Grant items. Loot. And a start position. There won't be a start position. All right, so all we need to do now is fill in the loot. How do we do that? There's an add item function, and it's an item ID. Okay, that's easy. So we need to know what all of the guild supplies are so that we know how to add them. But we don't necessarily need that because there's a function to get that from the adventurer data somewhere. Yeah, all adventurer data. Should have a guild supply. Yeah, there it is. So where do we access this? Because I probably already wrote this function. Guild supplies. Power up item ID. There's no way to go. I didn't write this. Oh boy. I did not write this apparently. Add random adventure item type. What's that? Get valid item IDs. What? Here it is. Oh man. Okay. I gotta make this static, I guess. Because it's not doing anything based on this class, is it? No, it's not. This could be static. I guess let's put it in all item data, like get guild supply item IDs. And it's based on whether you're in challenge mode, regular mode, or in the demo. No, the demo doesn't have this. Yeah, so it's easy. It's a little bit easier, I guess. All item data. Do I have something that fetches? I'm going to just put it here. All right, public static, whatever this is called. This can't be called get valid item IDs, though. It needs to be something like get guild supply IDs. Why do we pass in adventurer classes? Oh my God. All right, what are we doing here? Drop item types contains. What is that? This can't be static. This does use some state. All I want to know is what are the different adventurers guild supply IDs? I don't think we have that anywhere, do we? Why do we even do this? Yeah, why do we pass in a list of classes? What? Oh, because in regular mode, you only get loot for the adventures you have. Oh, that's... Oh, God. All right, I just want to find all the guild supply IDs. Now let's just write a public static hash set item ID, get all guild supply item IDs. So all this is going to do is get a hash set of item IDs and then go through each adventurer class. But this is, yeah. This is enum functions dot get valid values. We don't need that. And now we need to get the adventurer data from this. Adventurer data equals get from the class, and then get their supply item ID, then just return it. Can we simplify this? I think we can. I think we can rewrite this entire function and just make it a little bit clearer. So let's do that really fast. We're going to go through these. We're going to select based on an adventurer class. We're going to get all adventurer data get guild supply to hash set. Yeah. There. So it's a one-liner now. All right, cool. Then we take this and we say hash set item ID guild item IDs equals all item data. Get that. And we just randomly pick one of these. I guess it needs to be a list if we're going to randomly pick. We don't have two lists. All right, so for each one of these, we do loot.add item sample this. There's no add item. Oh, it needs to take in a number. 1. Okay, I'd be impressed if this worked. I spent a while coding this, and yeah, who knows. All right, well, let's try it anyway. So we go to free guild supplies, and we set the interval to something low enough to be able to tell. And then we need the warehouse. So title screen, let's start with, instead of, what do I have it on? Fishing, garbage enjoyer. Let's set it to storage enthusiast. Okay, so here goes. Hey, Steger. We're going to have a full warehouse. Sorry, no, we're going to have a fully upgraded warehouse, but it'll be empty. And every, whatever it is, 5 seconds, it's going to try filling in 1/5 of the spaces with random guild supplies. It does not look like it's working. But it also doesn't look like it's even trying to work. What did I mess up? All right, first let's see, is this function even being called? It should take no more than 5 seconds. No, it is not being called. So that means that this is not less than 0. Nope. What did I mess up? Free guild supplies 5. Does this have the right ID? Yes. Does warehouse know that that's the ID it should be? Oh, I think I might do this in the wrong order now. No, I set up the specialization first. So you have the warehouse. Oh, that says free treasure chests. Oh, that should say free guild supplies. Okay, that's a problem. So we can get rid of that breakpoint now. If I even had it here. I don't know if I do. Let's have a look-see this time around. So we wait 5 seconds. Once it says 55, we should get some guild supplies. Whoop, that's a lot of guild supplies. Is it? Is the game still playable? Yeah, okay. So that also lets us test that once it's at maximum. So I'm not resetting the timer. That's the problem here. Reset guild supply timer. Keep it. I want that. No can do. No can do. All right, so the first time it should grant, well, like 12? So it should go 13. Okay, but the next time it should not grant 13. It's going to grant some smaller amount. It granted 11. Now it's going to grant less than 11. Well, technically there was 9 because a slot was freed up. But now it should be less than 9. It's now 7. Now it should grant less than 7. Because it's based on the number of empty slots. Yeah, 5. And it can grant no fewer than 1 unless there's no empty space. So now it granted 4. It grants 4 again. Now one of these is going to get taken. and it granted 3. I'm waiting for this to just, okay, let's just speed it up. 2 should eventually go down to 1. 2, 2 again. Now it should be 1. 1, 1, 1 down there. 1 up here, 1 up here. And now no errors. Yeah. All right. This is pretty interesting. Also, this goes to show you what kind of upgrades you can expect. Like, let's say all you cared about was a witch doctor. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 of them. What you would expect on average is for there to be about 6 of each one. But like the golem, we only have 3 of those. And the mage, we have 8. And now the rogue cloaks, we have 4. But yeah, if you were clearing out your warehouse, it would keep generating more and more of these things. Which is pretty interesting. In fact, they'll probably never be able to clear the warehouse because it's going to keep generating more and more as it gets lower. It's kind of interesting. If we had enough workers, they could get it to empty. Like that, maybe. Even that's not enough. It won't be every 5 seconds in the real game. So it's not going to be this crazy. Yeah, they still haven't cleared it. I'm kind of curious if they will. Well, this is totally arbitrary at this point. I'm not testing anything. Just watching the fun things happen. Oh, I think they almost got it. It's like trying to watch a DVD logo hit the corner of the screen. All right, I'm done watching. Let's make it guaranteed. There, they cleared it out. Turns out I'm not done watching. All right, so this should have superpowered all of our adventurers. Oh, we don't show guild supplies unless you have the treasure room. Oh, that is a problem. So we need to fix this? Yeah, because otherwise you won't be able to see this information. Where do we show this? In the adventurer panel tab? We tell when you unlock the treasure room and we call show guild supplies. So it's not only when you've unlocked the treasure room, but it's also whenever you collected a guild supply. I guess even once one exists. Or maybe that should just show by default in challenge mode. Yeah, it should probably just show by default in challenge mode. Challenge mode. Where do we hide this? We initialize it here. Does this hide it? It doesn't. It might be in Godot itself. Oh, there it is, right there. Where is that? Ready? Okay, fine. Then in init we can show it. So if is challenge mode, show. And I need to write Y. The free guild supplies. Well, yeah, free guild supplies doesn't require the treasure room, but would make the player want to know their supplies. There may eventually be other such cases. So just show these by default in challenge mode. Okay. So I think that's the whole feature. Oh, wait, no, it's not. Trade-off generation. We need to put this in here. Free guild supplies. And it's only positive. There should be no generation concerns in here. Yeah, no, it's pretty much fine. Hey, Smurf. Thanks for the resub. Happy 2.5 years. That's a lot of time. I hope you're doing well. We're making some good progress over here. I really do want to try a run with some of these things. Although we're not guaranteed to get offered any of these. And we don't have negatives where we can offer 2 choices. Yeah. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to check in all of this stuff. This and this. But not this one. and not the other one. Yeah. Yes, I do. Same to you. Thank you. All right. Get all guild supply item IDs. I wonder if that should just go somewhere else. I don't know where I'd expect this to be, but I guess searching for it's easy enough. All right, what else do we have? Double that max value. So when we don't have this thing granted to you, or you don't have the warehouse, I guess we should test that stuff, huh? Return to title, challenge mode. So start here. So we don't have the warehouse. So every 5 seconds, it's going to try generating something, and it will just realize that it can't. It's not erroring, so that's good. But what happens when we get the warehouse? Should just immediately start filling it with stuff. Yeah, nice. Which reminds me that I forgot to undo the interval. This should be 50 again. There we go. Okay, let's keep looking through the code. Yep, looks pretty reasonable. That's good. Grant free guild supplies, yeah. All right, yeah, pretty nice. That's it. Add free guild supplies. All right, well, you have an enchanter spell active. Crops grow 50% faster or slower. Press a few words. They console us. Yeah. Well, you have an enchanter spell active. Crops grow faster or slower. I kind of want to do a play test. Yeah. And I kind of want to try fishing mode. Yeah. Okay. Let's do that. Did I code fishing mode? Like, does it have all of the... No, it doesn't. All right, well, we're still going to try very hard mode. Let me restart this so that we're starting from a clean slate. I can't start with 5,000 money. That'd be cheating. I can't start with this. That's also cheating. There. Sounds like it should just be a 4th enchanter ability. I don't think so, because I don't think it's something you'd want to have happen. It would feel like it's diluting the other ones. I like it as a perk, though. All right, let's turn on the music and go into fishing mode. This is probably not going to be that hard because there are no constraints. The other modes have things like this. Town perks cost more, adventures cost more. This has nothing, so it should be pretty easy. But we start with the fishing pond. So let's kick off our run. I want to hire an adventurer. I actually kind of like the rogue a little bit better. But yeah, and let's put these things up here. All right, so there's our fishing pond. We have a maximum of 45 fish allowed. Let's get some money going. Actually, getting the farm is really good in this mode too because we have spicy cooking. But I think we're going to disallow that eventually. Okay. All right, we got full shops now. Put the extra ones of these over here for now. Better get a worker first, I guess. I'm trying to get another adventurer, but actually maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe I should go for buildings first. No, I should get an adventurer, at least for the fish. Yeah. I don't really care if something disappears. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Customers are taking their sweet time anyway. I only have the 2 fish, but that'll at least let me power them up. Yeah. Getting a cloak. All right, we're 7 gold away. Oh, I could have done that. Nope, no. Put that in the quest thing. All right, we're about to make another sale. Good. And one more. Nice. Okay, let's get the warrior. Let's send them into the pond. Ooh, someone wants a bow. I've got those. Let's leave this on, I guess. So I want to get a building next. And they'll beat these fish eventually. Yeah, but I want a building, and I think the farm would be best. Put these things over here. All right, now we can afford the building. Those are not the farm. Take the garbage slime. Oh, that's a lot of sludge from that. Okay, what's best here? I like this. All right, we're gonna go full mushroom build. These are all not so great. That's probably... I don't know. Yeah, let's go with the cleric, but I'm not too happy about that. I'm definitely going to that. Nice. Okay, yeah. So this and this and this. We can sell one of those. Our warrior's not doing anything right now. So I should probably just send them into the forest too, maybe. Or just send them all somewhere else. Yeah, let's just do that. Send them all over here. Do I have any inventory freed up? There we go. Yeah, I mean, we're getting more fish. I did buff the fishing pond. Let's build... Oh, nice farm. Okay. Nice, nice, nice. And we might as well activate this quest. I'll put this down here. I'll drag this here myself. Let's get some town perks now. We don't have any of these buildings. I'll go with the warehouse for when we finally get it. Go shiny loot for now. All right, they want a potion, which I can get them. There we go. All right, we're collecting up some fish. I want another adventurer. Yeah, I think that's the most important thing. Let's get rid of that. No, no, no. Turned green. That does not mean I want it. Yeah, I let that happen. They're gonna win this battle too. How long are they taking? 18 seconds. They really use customers or something here. Or upgrading them, which another adventurer would let me do. I should probably swap over to the fishing pond and at least like do that once. As long as this person doesn't buy both, we're fine. Oh my god. Okay. I was like, that better not happen. All right, mushroom, mushroom, mushroom. No, no mushroom. Okay, that's fine. We'll send you into there. You're gonna fish for us. We can just sell these things directly. There's a potion back there. Yeah, let's dump this in here. So the rogue has quite a lot of fish to work through, and they'll always target them down one by one. So this will let us get some more battle perks pretty quickly too, because they're all glowing fish, and they have a chance to crit. Oh, okay. These are all characters we have. I actually think the warrior is best here, because the damage dealt to attackers when you have taunt is really nice. Yeah. I'm just going to go full on warrior here. Yeah. Just too powerful. Alright, that person... Oh, well, that person did want that. Next up, I want another building. I actually kind of want the enchanter. I'm going to sell that directly. Okay, good. Get the blue potion over there. Get that over there. Get that over there. What did I say I wanted? Oh, God, I don't even remember. But I think maybe another adventure would actually be best. I think I said I want a building, and I want the enchanter. But we're going for another adventure first. Oh, man, I'm just getting all the warrior stuff. All right, where's my 3 gold there? Sure. Let's take the cleric. They have a perk at least. All right, so just abandon that fight. Send the cleric in. Yeah. They need to win something. Let's sell this. They should win that faster. Okay. Okay, this is... The warrior's already going crazy. This should be pretty easy to win. Yeah, I'll take this, even though it's not probably the best. But I like it. Shouldn't there be a trade-off next? I think there should be. Although I want another building before I do that. Okay, we're just getting all the warrior stuff. Yeah. As of go to benefit you warrior 5 times. Total coincidence. Definitely didn't cheat. Yeah, I think this will be pretty easy to win though. All right, build. What do we want? What do we want? I want the enchanters den actually. Although we could go for a whole bunch. Let's just get the enchanters den. All right, now let's make customers move faster. Oh god, oh god. Oh god, we're getting too many items. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that at all. Yeah, nice. We can dump these things in here. Sure. Okay, got another fish. That's decent. But we need to restart that battle for the haste to take effect. So there we go. Now we could really use... more customer speed again. I do want this to be over here. Let's put that there. Yeah. I'll make them go to the next area. They could probably tackle it. The warrior's level 7. It's a little bit crazy. All right, what do we have here? Now let's get Swift Shoes. All right, so now it's a trade-off one. So we're going to do the same thing I did last time and take a picture of this and then pause the game. The game should just pause itself for this for sure. Oh my goodness, look at that. Fish give gold. Every time you cook a fish, you get 2 gold. But I'll get less crop value. Income plus 5%, but town perks cost more. This is also pretty appealing. And this is easier enemies, but fewer. All of these are interesting. I like that I put trade-offs in the game. I think this is great. And all these choices feel good. Because this is like, what build do you want for the next 10 minutes? But I think we have to pick this one because I just added it. I don't think it's going to be very good though. Like I think this is the best. Because this lowers our gold target by like 400 gold. So this is essentially giving us 400 gold. So do we think we're going to get more than 200 fish in the run? We actually might. Yeah, you know what? Okay, fine. Let's go with the fish one. All right, so now fish give gold. How much? Okay, the warrior is actually coming a little bit close to dying there. I think we need to power up the cleric a little bit too. And we could really use some item slots. Yeah. We need one more yellow potion there. Let's get more loot. I want the warehouse. Cleric, pretty good. Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah, I want the warehouse. I need to build something. Build, warehouse, take it, put all this stuff over there. Okay, now we are cooking. In fact, there are lots of fish now. Yeah. This is bad if they're just gonna be my fisher person. I guess stealth helps them a little bit. This is really good. Like really, really good. Wow. All right, I don't care about another building. We're just gonna get some town perks now. This is less interesting because I have lower crop value, but it's still probably best because I'm gonna be dumping in a lot of potions there. I'm gonna go for the expanded weapon shop. And this one I'm gonna go for cloning. I'm just gonna ignore the treasure room for this run. Let's do that, and that, and that. Okay, okay. The rogue is now overwhelmed. In fact, let's turn this off for a bit. Let's let them just collect up fish. We should get lots of upgrades. I wanted the mushroom upgrades, but I'm not gonna go for that anymore. I'm going for this. Damage dealt to attackers is really powerful. That's incredibly good. That's probably the best if I'm gonna stick with this. Oh man, I want the warrior first. Already, the amount of haste they have is 35%. 14% dodge. Return 14 damage. Deal damage on hit. Like every part of that is just fantastic. So yeah, let's sell those things. Let's sell this. All right, we need a yellow potion. Let's go send them over there and get that. Yeah. This run pretty much has to be a win, right? Yeah, especially, I mean, the warrior's already going nuts. All right, let's get another adventurer. They desperately need help. Why did I do this? It was for an item. Oh, did they leave? I think the person who wanted that left town. All right, well, I'll turn that off then. Yeah, send them into here. Actually, maybe they can win the next area. Let's hire another adventurer. Yeah, let's go with the archer. I want to send them into this. Yeah, let's just send them in now. And then we're going all in on fish. Yeah, I'm gonna turn this back on. We're gonna plant everything. Oh, right, that's right. I need a yellow potion for that. And I got that now. Let's do that. All right, so fishing battle's going crazy. We're also getting gold every time they fish. Okay. I think these characters are going to be stupidly powerful. Oh, they're dying. The warrior's not that good, apparently. All right, well, let's get some quick money here. Let's send you two in. Yeah. All right, they'll win that very easily. Although they won't be doubling the loot from that. We've gotten all the fish. Let's upgrade the cleric. The more power, the more healing. That's incredibly good. Yeah, they're like wrecking that boss. In fact, they could probably duo this boss. But I'm gonna send in a trio anyway. Always thinking they should win the next area. Yeah. And it's potentially like 30 seconds lost. Oh my god, they're doing so much damage. Alright, let's get another adventure. Let's go for that. Town perk, sure. Go for... Actually, I don't like any of these. Okay, I like these. Alright, so we got that. That's going to go try to sell it up there. Let's send them back into this battle. I think they could win it this time. Hey, LA, how you doing? Where'd the sword go? Huh. I don't know where that went. Let's go with that. That's decent. That's also decent. Okay, we just have to win this, right? They're winning this fight now, I hope. The warrior's taking a lot of damage, but they have a chance to dodge. They have lifesteal. They're getting healed. The golem is also presumably taking hits. So they're winning in 33 seconds. Okay, that could be faster. And these characters should be doing something. I guess we weren't winning any fights up until that point. Yeah, I want another adventurer. Do I have an adventurer that's just sitting around? I do. Let's send into the forest. Any potions I can pump into the fishing pond would be great. In fact, let's take... No, let's just send you in. It doesn't matter. And let's get more loot. I don't want the treasure room. We're just going to ignore that this run. This is pretty nice. Where are the items? What is going on? Okay, there are some items. Put these things in here. Sell one of those. Put that there. Someone wanted boots. I think they must have gotten them. Or maybe it was a cloak that I misremembered as boots. Alright. Another warrior upgrade? Yes, please. I'll take the quick move menu too. We're probably going to have that unlocked by default. I don't want any of this. I'll take that one. Okay, these can hardly keep up now. I want this. Yeah, I definitely want this. The cleric has an ability, though, that makes them not get targeted, so the damage taken isn't going to matter. What is this, 5? Oh, I'm getting a lot of crops. I wonder if that's actually working. It's hard to tell because I've got spicy cooking there too. Alright, battle perk. Okay, that's actually pretty good. Let's put them back in the battle so they get that benefit. And I'll take customer speed again. Alright, we should probably get another adventurer. What's the next quest? Bows? You know, I'm getting bows. Let's just put these in there. Why not? Someone wanted cloaks, right? Someone definitely wants gloves. I don't even have gloves. Is this a playthrough? Yeah, I'm trying on fishing mode with the new changes. It definitely feels more powerful. Like, a lot more powerful. My warrior is level 12. I wonder if they could take on an even higher location now. Just because of the ludicrous amount of power that the warrior has. In fact, I should probably invest in the treasure room at this point. Can they beat this location? The warrior just has so many perks. And they just keep getting better. And like this is helping them too because they get healing from the cleric. They're probably not going to win this. I think I need to upgrade the witch doctor once or twice. I just need the warrior to survive for like a little bit longer. Okay, there. That should be enough. Yeah. Now they're going to win, right? Yep. Wow. They're already beating that. Okay, turn this on. And get all of the loot. Yeah, nice. And now we can fuel our fishing pond even further. Nice. Do you have the gold per fish? Yeah, I do. Alright, we've maxed that out. Let's get another adventurer. Yeah, nice. Let's put them into here now. I just want maximum fishing. Yeah. Alright, let's fully fuel the pond. We don't need them fighting in the forest anymore. That's a waste of time. How many fish do I have in the pond? 15. Okay, this might be too powerful now. I think it might be. There are no downsides to the fishing spec, though. So that should be the case and just isn't. Yeah. Getting more perks. Let's go with that, sure. Let's go with that one, too. Yeah. In fact, let's take them out and send them back in. That way they get the bonuses from that. Alright. We need... I'm so tempted to get the treasure room, but we're not going to do that. Max customers. Expanded armor shop and potion shop. Yeah, let's take those. Sure, let's get a 14th level for the warrior. Why not? What are their stats now? 75% haste, 22% dodge. They should almost be able to take on the Inferno, I think. Just the cleric and the warrior, probably. Yeah, this is a pretty easy win, I think. I just need some customers. Eventually, I should give up on the fishing pond, but for now, I'm still gonna just keep maxing this out. I'll go with this. 19% haste is nuts. All the battle perks now are like a crazy amount. Yeah. So they're getting fish very quickly. Town perk. Sure, let's get that one. Let's get that one. Let's get that. Auto casting would actually be pretty nice right now. Alright, get all the fish we can possibly get. Wow, I've never had this many weapons. Getting the treasure room might not actually be bad now. I'm tempted to try it, although we probably should just stick to this stuff. Okay, we're just... Wow. I don't even care. I'm not even reading these. This character is going to do such a crazy amount of damage. Let's see. Can they beat the Inferno now? 20 seconds is how long they're beating that in. Let's send them here. I am quite curious. Let's let that run. And I'll send these over there. Yeah. They can beat it. This is the easiest run I've ever done. Warriors, like, super carrying. They're doing, like, 300 something damage per hit. I think they're disorienting all the enemies that hit them. There's, like, a bunch of broken things going on right now. There's no way they should be this powerful. And there's a chance every single time I get another perk that they get more powerful. I think the fishing pond is actually too good now. Yeah, they're beating the final location. Like, this is such an easy win. It's just crazy. Alright, well, it was interesting. I think we should probably nerf something. I don't even know what. What change made the most impact? I mean, I think getting a lot of fish has been helpful. The 2 gold per thing, I don't know how much that's impacting me. But yeah, the rest of this stuff is just... I should not be able to get as many battle perks. It's crazy. Yeah, let's just take that. We can get another adventurer just so we'll have another worker. 2 gold per fish is pretty nutty. I'm not even sure if that's the nuttiest thing. But yeah, the confluence of all of this stuff is what's probably craziest. Fishing spec. Who knew? It's the one true spec. Now remember, we have no difficulty modifiers. So probably we just need to tone this stuff down and be like, battle perks cost like triple the amount. But look at this, plus 12 power. I don't need any of this really. This is probably best. Yeah. This doesn't matter. None of this matters. I need loot. We're actually kind of getting enough anyway. And we can put these in here for another worker if we wanted to. These should go down there. Sad it's gotta die. I mean, who knows? Maybe it can stick around. I'm gonna go with Entropic Magic, actually. We don't need the potion shop. We don't need any of this. Yeah, I'll go for that. I don't need that either. Auto casting, taking it, putting it over here. It's probably better to manually cast it, actually. We do need loot. I guess I should just stop fishing at this point. Yeah, I should. I'm not going to yet, but I should. Let's get a couple more upgrades. And then, yeah, we'll funnel... Okay, let's turn this off now, yeah. We'll get whatever remaining fish there are there, and then that'll be that. Sure, let's take that one. How fast are they winning this fight? I'll get another adventurer, too. They could always act as a worker if we need. That lasts for 11 more seconds. I will turn this off autocast. They are winning in 33 seconds. Yeah, so let's take them out of the fishing pond and send them just anywhere else. They're a high enough level they could probably beat this. Something is AoEing the mobs. The warrior is just doing everything. Like 59 damage when they get hit, and they have taunt. And they have this, a higher chance to counterattack while taunting. And they have enough haste that they're always taunting. So the warrior is always the one being hit. They have a crazy amount of dodge. They counter like every single thing that happens to them. In fact, I should probably take the golem out so they're not taking the occasional hit. I bet they'd be more powerful with the spirit caller in, for example. So 35 seconds, that's about to rise. And yeah, there's 10 minutes left. Like, we have no reason to play out the rest of this game. Actually, that's true. Maybe the warrior could solo that location. Although having the cleric is pretty good. Yeah, I'll try that out. Let's turn this on. We don't need to do any of this. This is a formality. Let's re-roll. More mana is good. Customer speed's good. Swift shoes is good. Doesn't really matter. Yeah. All right, so they're winning in 29 seconds. Let's take out 2 characters and see how fast they win. Well, this isn't a real level 4 run because, like I said, there are no constraints for this. And there should be. Yeah, this character can't die. Maybe we need to scale up battle perks slower, just in case you do get to this point. Since there are no constraints, I feel like this works. Yeah. I just don't know, is this overpowered in all of the specializations? Like, is the fishing pond now too good? But yeah, this is just, it's nuts. We're winning in less than 30 seconds. And we can't even stock everything now. All right, we're about to knock this out of the park. It doesn't matter what I pick. It doesn't matter. It just definitely doesn't matter. We're at 92%. It's gonna skyrocket pretty soon. Yeah, I could just idle here. Oh, we have hardworking adventurers, so we could hire another worker, basically. And we could take these out of battle to just make them stock stuff. And we could make them move faster. We have every spell cast right now. This is level 4 with no modifiers. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this was just a stupidly strong run. It's about to end in about 3 seconds, yeah. Whew. 38 battle perks. Oh, we're taking a picture of that. Yeah, that was definitely too easy. Now, with 3 constraints, I could see that needing the remaining 9 minutes that you have. 36 for on the warrior. What did we get the warrior to? Level 19. It's just crazy. It was like, okay, enemies won't hit you anymore. There's a 40% chance that they miss, but crush is being used every 2.1 seconds, cut in roughly half. So like every 1 second they're using this. So eventually every enemy is going to miss every single attack. They already have 22% dodge to cause them to miss even more anyway. They're getting more healing from the cleric. They're also stealing life based on a crazy amount of power. They're doing 208 damage per hit. It's like everything just lined up on the warrior. And that was without any extra guild supplies or anything. And we probably got a bunch of money from getting fish. I don't know how many we got. In fact, it kind of makes me wonder if we just turn this back on and we send these characters all to the pond and then these characters to just anywhere that's going to get them potions. Let's do that. We could even do this. Might as well. So it's like they can't even... Well, they can kill the fish fast enough in this case. I can put some more fish in the pond. Yeah. And then a battle perk. Like, the numbers are just absurd for this. 22% haste on one character with 11 power. It's like, if I gotta restart this battle... I guess it's only 30%. They're not such a high level. But yeah, all these are crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah, it feels like a broken run. Can the warrior solo a boss? I already killed the bosses, so I can't try that. Yeah. But yes, they almost certainly could. I mean, they could probably solo this location. In fact, if I just put them in, I think they're at the point where there's no way they could die. Because they'll eventually hit every enemy, which will cause them to not be able to attack anymore. And then they'll just lifesteal back to full. And I think even countering makes them lifesteal. Yeah, so they can't die. Well, they were already the only one being hit. The cleric got the ability that makes them never get targeted. So it will go slower. Because the cleric was only providing upside. But I don't know how much slower. You could look at the DPS numbers at the end. Power craziness. It was like 29 seconds before. I don't know how much it's going to be now. 37, yeah. So the cleric was helping out a lot. In fact, that probably means that buffs for the cleric would make like this. Actually, resonance is a big buff too. Let's just do that. So we have resonance. Let's make sure that they're fighting there. I'll speed it up too so we don't need to wait. So it's 37 seconds without her. Now she has resonance. It is 28 seconds. Okay, so it took a second off for the cleric to do some more damage. We get another battle perk here. 18 more damage dealt. And even faster crush. The warrior's going to attack like non-stop now. Oh, hey, that text is really tiny. It's probably always really tiny. Yeah, this is ludicrous. Damage numbers are like 655 that are showing up. Look at that. Take everything out in one hit. So crazy. All right, so they won in 19 seconds now. Yeah, wow, good for them. All right, well, that was that. So I think it's safe to say something's broken. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to publish. I think I'm going to publish this, let people mess around with the new changes, and probably end the stream. So revert these things, publish branch, go over to GitHub, add more trade-offs. I think that's all we did, right? Oh, and make the pond a little bit better. And rebalance and lower fish cost. Yeah, so we just added 3 abilities. Create PR. Merge. Wait for that to finish. Looks good. Pull. And release. All right, let's go write our patch notes. Playtest 096. All right, 0.9.6. Get our Unix time. So added 3 new trade-off choices that can show up. All right, what do we do? Free guild supplies. You get free guild supplies directly in your warehouse every so often. What was the other one that we did? Greedy garbage slime. The garbage slime will eat directly from the warehouse when at max hunger. And the last one was the fish thing, I think. Yeah, fish give gold. Fish give 2 gold per kill. And then lowered the cost of fish eggs from 25G to 20G. This should make the pond more viable. Okay. All right, do you want to upload to Steam? Yes. Now let's get the rest of this. All right. Give me a sec. Go into confirmations. Okay, now we gotta go do this. Where is it? Go to this link. O.9.6. Set build public and confirm. Okay, cool. So that means I can now post this. I'll just write challenge mode. Challenge mode. Report on what you feel. Yeah. Okay. Nice. All right. I do think adding these other couple will be nice to do as well. And I want to come up with more negative effects. Need to come up with more negative effects so that we can present a second choice after, say, 15 town perks. So the first choice is at 4 perks. The next one being at 15. Like 4 perks happens within probably like 5 minutes. I could probably look at the VOD and find out. This should probably happen within maybe like 10 to 15 minutes. The goal is to probably get it closer to 15. Maybe like the 13-minute mark is ideal. And then I'd love to have one more of these, maybe at like 30 perks. And we'd expect that to happen at around like 25 minutes maybe. And that way you're choosing these like impactful trade-offs, sometimes based on steering your run and sometimes based on what you've already done. So some will be forward looking and some will be backward looking. And I think that'll make the game really fun. And then the only thing that I think could be missing we need just more perks and more trade-offs. But after that, the only system I think we might be missing is like the concept of rarity. So imagine a rare perk that says something like, I don't know. I didn't mean to hold the E there. But yeah, it says E. It's a very spooky perk. Yeah, I don't know. Just some stronger thing. We'd have to figure that out. All right, so revert these things and add UID files. You think I would just remember to do this, but I never do. So the build is live. We published the thing. I think I'm going to go raid somebody. And then I have a bunch of other things I got to do today. So hopefully at some point I kind of get back to this. Let's raid Maya. She just started her stream and she raided yesterday, and I feel bad because I like immediately ended. I was in the process of already ending. It's not like I ended because of the raid. How's it going? How's the progress? It's going pretty well. I think that the game is getting more and more fun, and I think that's really important. I think at some point we got to figure out like what will let us launch, because I think we're almost to the point where we can stop focusing on systems. We have like maybe one more system to code, I hope. So yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go raid Maya. She is working on her Discord clone. And I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow should be a full day. I don't know exactly what we're gonna do. Probably some playtesting, probably some coding. Might take it a tiny bit easy. Thanks for watching, and hope you have a good rest of your day. See ya.